अब मैं मंच पर आसीन सभी अतिथियों से आग्रह करती हूँ कि वो दीप प्रज्वलित कर इस समारोह का शुभारंभ करें।
शांति 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 अस्तु तमसो मा ज्योतिर्मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय। जय जय जयति जय जय ज्ञान का आलोक अनुपम श्रेष्ठ सुंदर दिव्य दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय विहंगम। जयति जय जय जयति जय जय ज्ञान का आलोक अनुपम त्रिदि सत्यम के मंगल दिव्य भावों का समागम। जयति जय जय जयति जय जय ज्ञान का आलोक अनुपम। भव्य महाविद्यालयों के परिसरों से सुशोभित शेष गुरुजन कर रहे हैं।
हमारे 100 साल पुराने विश्वविद्यालय के 23वें कुलपति प्रोफेसर योगेश सिंह। प्रोफेसर सिंह एक उत्कृष्ट शिक्षाविद हैं। हर्ष ध्वनि से इनका स्वागत करें। हर्ष ध्वनि से इनका स्वागत करें। मान्यवर को मलेरिया के रिकॉम्बिनेंट वैक्सीन के विकास के लिए दुनिया भर में जाना जाता है। प्रोफेसर चौहान को उनके योगदान के लिए भारत सरकार ने 2012 में पद्मश्री से सम्मानित किया है। सालों का अनुभव है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। शीलता तेल व गैस आदि का पता लगाया। सीमैन, फिजिकल मेंबर ऑफ एकेडमिक काउंसिल आदि जैसे कई प्रशासनिक पदों पर कार्य किया है। सर के शोध पत्र पायोनियर जर्नल्स जैसे साइंटिफिक रिपोर्ट ने जो इंटरनेशनल G20 के प्रबंधक हैं। एवं इनके शोध का विषय टेक्टोनिक एंड लैंडस्लाइड हैजार्ड सॉल्यूशन है। रजिस्ट्रार डायरेक्टर स्कूल ऑफ साइंसेस एवं कंट्रोलर ऑफ सभी विशिष्ट अतिथियों का विशेष आभार।
Taking the one of the aspect of this seminar, which is focused on the sensitization program about 1.5 million years back, we have such type of things were there. And I'm taking only the 3 examples which will reflect that why this we are facing nowadays the warming period. And day by day it is increasing also. There are 2 types of changes are there which we are looking at. The human induced, the another is the natural disasters. Now we compare the geological past climate with the why, when and how it was taking place, and are the humans are concerned with that, or humans are playing the role, in this changing the climate, the Martian weather. Now here you can see here the low temperature is there, about minus 130 degrees Celsius. Water was there on the Mars. As you can see here, the dried up river beds are there. Now this Mars have the water which has totally disappeared. Why it was disappeared? As you can see in the first diagram, the magnetic field was there, the red lines. And in the second position, that is the present day today, the magnetic field is totally gone. Now, if we compare the another planet, that is the Venus one, the same thing was happened over there. Now, this is another factor which we can see here, that this is global climate change, which is due to the eccentricity of the Earth. Now, the second is also the obliquity. As you can see, the obliquity means the Earth's axis is also moving away from this angle, that is 22.1 degree to 24.5 degree. So that is the main, these two factors. And the third is the waning of this Earth's magnetic field. So that is why we are facing the warming period. Now, if the Earth approaches the Sun, due to the all tilting, eccentricity, so the greenhouse effect, that is the carbon dioxide and oxygen, that all moves away. So the Earth is moving towards the Mars-like climate and plus the Venus-like climate. So that is the things which we are facing nowadays. So is it, the humans are playing on this game, but due to the Earth or nature, which is showing this glacial and interglacial periods, that is all the nature is playing due to the all the factors. That is, we are humans are because these cycles also take place when the humans were not there.
Today the topic is Sensitization Program on Disaster and Climate Change. UN has calculated and estimated that world will be 2.7 degree warmer by 2100. It means what? 170 years after, considering emission control pledges. What is happening in the Paris Agreement? Now every country is asked to pledge that now we will try to minimize the carbon emissions. India has also given a pledge to reach net zero emission by 2070. Climate change is the greatest challenge of our generation. We have to address this. In G20, they are working on the 4 words, concept of reduce, reuse, recycle and repair. Reduce, reuse, recycle and repair. These 4 words were part of Indian civilization. But another word which is very, very important for us is we have to enhance our growth rate for the country. And now, as India has decided to be a developed nation by 2027, we want to have a growth rate 9% for another 25 years. And if we apply all this concept of reduction, repair and everything, we may minimize our growth rate. That also we have to keep in mind. One side, we want to maintain the growth rate for 25 years, subject to sustainable development, and this subject to these 4 words also. Country needs new solutions to address these issues, because it requires a balanced approach. किसी ने जो कहा बहुत अच्छा है, जिंदगी में ऐसा करो कि दोनों का काम चलता रहे, हवा भी चलती रहे और दिया भी जलता रहे. It's a real challenge for us. हवा भी चलती रहे, दिया भी जलता रहे. It's a challenge for us. But a country of 140 crore people's bright minds of India should find our own solutions. In this G20 theme, total focus is on this climate change and the issues of the climate change. For us, challenge is what? Reducing the carbon emission without compromising growth rate, which is essential for eradication of poverty from India. And this sensitization program, where we will discuss and deliberate many such issues, your focus should be on designing those techniques, designing those methods and processes which can enhance growth rate without compromising or say considering all parameters of sustainable development and reduce, reuse, repair, and replace theories. And I'm thankful to the organizers for inviting me and sharing some of the views. Thank you very much.
What humans have done to the earth and what earth might in return do to humans. So I'll just focus. James wrote in 1971 and then wrote a very famous book called Revenge of Gaia. Those of you are familiar with various names of earth in Greek, in Latin, in India also earth is known as Mother Earth or Prithvi, Ma Prithvi. And those of you who've grown few things on this earth, in your garden or in your small gamlas, you know what earth can give you back. Earth can give you amazing things back. But if you are in the business of, in a hurry to destroy earth, so the book is called Revenge of Gaia. If those of you who are interested in this is available on internet, written long time back. What James said some time back, and one may disagree because technological advancements happen all the time. There's another calculation. If every Chinese and Indian ate just 100 grams of animal meat, this earth will sink in no time. It simply can't produce that much food. If Americans can eat beef which is 250 or 300 grams, why should an Indian or Chinese not access? If every Chinese family and Indian family had one Maruti 800, no other car, just smallest car, the cheapest car which runs 20 kilometers for a liter, I think the world will dry out of fossil fuel in very, very quick time. So no matter what you, I or Dinesh or policymaker or disaster management people do, it almost will be impossible to clean our river. The river Jamuna or Ganga for that matter, we are trying to clean it for many, many years. So one might end up, breaking one's head in a hole and say these are unsolvable problems. Stubble burning happens every year. All of us by November, December will start shouting, blaming each other. But stubble burning remains a reality. Even I totally agree, many, many disasters are man-made. And if you want to save Earth, if you don't want revenge of Mother Prithvi hitting back at us, I think we have to respect Mother Earth. And if you did, I think our disasters will still be there. But disasters will be much, much less. And you'll have to pay less attention to management of disasters. Thank you.
So climate change is such a thing which is so gradual, and many times we feel that boiling frog syndrome, where we feel that still there is a time, and I think we are losing all our energy into that it is still not too late. And I think by the time we open up our eyes, I think it will be devastation will be beyond recovery. If we have to see a resilient and a society which can sustain its developmental goals, it can only be in harmony with the nature. And seeing this, I think there's an international level, there was a Sendai framework which has India as a signatory, and where one of the major goals is mainstreaming disaster into every vertical. In this context, academic institutions also bring in with them the wealth of knowledge, as well as wealth of research, innovation, and that is why Honorable Prime Minister's 10-point agenda, the agenda number 6, it's about creating a university network, a knowledge network with the universities, and it is having a multiple advantages in terms of creating real knowledge networks at a national level, at a regional, state level, as well as at the local level. Once again, I am wishing best wishes for this very important event.
When we look at as a disaster management personnel and professional, we see the two things that no disaster is natural. We always say that disaster is all human induced. and it's all human activities which are leading to that kind of an impact. The second analogy which we draw, that's all natural activities which are happening all through, which is interfacing with the human activities, and that human activity is not conducive for human living, which is leading to disasters. Nevertheless, what we say that Honorable Prime Minister, he has taken initiative, and during the Asian Ministerial Conference, which happened in 2016, and he gave this Asian ministers this as a 10-point agenda for the disaster risk reduction in the country. We say that must be focused on the risk reduction rather than focusing on the post-disaster, post-mortem and post-disaster relief. Post-disaster actions will not take us anywhere. It will add on to the economy and economic losses. But when we start focusing on the disaster prevention, risk reduction, probably we may lead to reduce some of the impacts and the effect. So when we say impact and effect, and we saw this very recently, 2018 Kerala flood, and we went for the damage and loss assessment as an NIDM team. And we found that one event which happened after 100 years in Kerala, and we found 26,000 crores of that event loss, one event. Similarly, when after that Fani took place in Orissa, and again we went for the damage and loss assessment, we got 32,000 crores of loss, economic loss, which happened in one event. It's the social issues, economic issues, and also countries issues. So if I remember this, one of the speeches of Barack Obama, he said that climate change, this is the only generation which has time to work. Next of the generation will face the consequences. So the idea is that how we are going to protect our future generation, which is already there and all. And here the sociologists, economic geographers, engineers, all are here. So no better place where we can see that as Mother Earth can give some kind of, if you give Mother Earth, give back many things. Knowledge institutions में भी हमने अगर आपदा प्रबंधन की सीट डाली है, तो दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी से भी कुछ ऐसा उपजेगा जिसमें हम कह सकते हैं कि माता ने बहुत कुछ दिया है. Thank you very much to all of you.
I'm not prepared about the climate change, but still, since I am from the environmental science background, I can say something about the climate change. Means why it is already happening. Means it is whatever it is said, means it is not only the particular area, whether it is the hill station or mountains, they are responsible for the climate change. Means if you go, this is the holistic approach. Means it is because of the pollution, since because the natural resources are there, if you disturb something, the natural resources, then definitely it will have some deleterious effect. That effect will change your climate. And since it is there, that is the pollution. That is you can say, the nature has given us three things: lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. All these three things, all together, they have some interlink. And in the thermodynamics, those who are from chemistry, they can know that is the one is the open system, another one is the closed system. And these three are spheres. This hydrosphere, lithosphere, and the atmosphere. These three, all three, they are to some extent they are closed with respect to something, and they are also open to with respect to something. So therefore, all these three spheres, they are having the interlink. And this interlink means right now, here what is saying that, okay, means everybody is talking about the climate change, and there is the pollution, means there is the problem. But where is the solution? We should go for the solution, not problem. Problem is there. And right now you will have to check, because of what means, what are the real parameters, which parameters are responsible for climate change. And you know that is in chemistry.
It will be good to inform some newer techniques in the using which are being used, and I think many people doesn't know about that, how simple has become the GIS and remote sensing in the new world. Because all the things which have come up now in the scientific studies, I'll show you that what you used to do for hours and days, from a topo sheet to vectorize it and then do it, or either do from GIS, you can do it. Now the data has been, Google Earth Engine, and there's something called as Google Earth Engine Explorer. There are many things like that. So I'll just discuss one by one, and I'll show you what I have done through that, and you will really imagine that what kind of studies can be done by that. And that will itself give what you were saying, sir, the problems which are emanating and solutions which can be found through that. So I will start with the Kedarnath disaster. Everybody knows about this Kedarnath disaster, how it happened. It was a flash flood through a system which came. Somebody said it is a outburst, glacial lake outburst. Somebody said it's a heavy rainfall. But we had a paper in Kedarnath on current sciences in 2006, which has about 70 or 75 citations. The people cited very much. We told that it is through the cloudburst, and I'll show you how it happened. Next, please. You see, this is the area where the rainfall occurred actually in the Kedarnath disaster. And this has happened on 11th June 2017. This is a total taken rainfall. Now what we do is, there are sites, why I wanted to tell you this thing, because we have open softwares, we have open sites like transmission radar mode vision. This is one site. We have another called as CHRS, it's another rainfall site. We have Aphrodite, another rainfall site. These are 3 rainfall sites where you can find data from 1951 to this time.
Disaster management is an ocean. Disaster management is not, and there is no subject as such, which you can teach, which you can, I'm going to a school of social work, where I think the students should be exposed, what are the social issues, what are the issues, when there is earthquake happen or flood happen or something, cyclone is there. These students who are getting degree, it is related with environment, but wherever there is mismanagement in environment, you have disaster. So this is one relation, but it is having connection with sociology, it is having connection with economics, it is having connection with geology, with biodiversity, with everything. That this country is having lots of capability in science and technology. This country is, I'm not saying we are ranking 1, 2, this is not my business and I have not done it. So this kind of statement is not correct. But the correct statement is that in the whole Asia, including Japan, we have very good, base in science and technology. And this I am saying based on my database, which I served for 5 years. I was presenting it in different workshops, etc., of the United Nations, and they really agreed that India is much ahead than any other region. I'm not comparing India with Nepal or Bangladesh or Indonesia, I'm comparing it with Japan, I'm comparing it with other nations which are having some competence. So friends, the only thing is, and I am grateful to Prime Minister that he has, sort of jagao is young generation, and he has conveyed that you are the best, in the not only in the world, but at least in this region.
Landslide is, I hope, the 90% of them. Whenever we travel from hill to plains, vice versa, we almost on every week we face such these problems, and roads are blocked because of the landslides. Must have heard nowadays we have the Char Dham Yatra, and Yatra is being stuck because of this rainfall, snowfall, and the collapse of the road because of the landslides. You can see this is, I have already given, this is landslide in northeast part of India. From this image you can imagine the size. The general causes as described since the morning we are studying, there may be natural causes, but many more are because of us, anthropogenic. So if you see the natural causes, we have basically landslide by heavy or prolonged rains. We had a very big example in 2013, Kedarnath tragedy. we can understand, because in slot of much amount of rain, which we call cloud burst as well, within a very short period, beyond the capacity of the rivers or the lakes. And then they get burst out and they flooded like a flood and create a lot of landslides. So this is also an example you can see from Ukhimat in we can say Rudraprayag district. This massive, you can see the dimension of this was almost 800 meter in length. How we can reduce all this thing. So it's very important whenever we design a structure, because if you in hilly area, you have no flat area, least flat area, so you have to design it. But if you have a structure, so it has a certain engineering, we can follow that engineering so that the structure can survive for a longer period. Sensitization about these events, particularly this landslide. So we can see this is the map given by ISRO. We call standard procedures we have to follow, and when we want to study or deal with we call hazards, landslides in particular area.
और आप स्टूडेंट लोग हैं, तो मैं पूरा दिन का एक आप लोगों से कुछ पूछना चाहती हूँ कि आपकी कितनी अंडरस्टैंडिंग हुई है अपनी निजी जिंदगी में। बताइए, अभी आप घर जा पाएंगे? नहीं जा पाएंगे। ट्रांसपोर्टेशन, पानी, कनेक्टिविटी, वाईफाई, बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत बढ़िया। मुझे लगता है आप लोग सोचने लगे हैं कि कैसे हम वी कैन कंट्रीब्यूट, है ना, आपकी स्टडी से आप कैसे कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकते हैं। तो अगर मैं अभी इन्होंने बोला कि हम एक तरह से अवेयर कर सकते हैं कि कौन से प्लांट कौन सी ड्राउट के लिए या फ्लड के लिए या रेन के लिए क्या कौन सी जरूरी है, और एयर प्यूरिफायर की सुबह बात हो रही थी, तो कौन से प्लांट को अगर हम लगाएंगे तो एयर प्यूरिफायर की जरूरत नहीं होगी, राइट। तो क्यों नहीं हम इतना इसको सिंपलिसिटी कर सकते, कि इतना सिंप्लीफाई नहीं कर सकते क्या हम, कि हर इंसान को पता हो किस एरिया में कि क्या हम खरीदने जा रहे हैं, क्या हम बेचने जा रहे हैं, क्या हम खाने जा रहे हैं, और कैसे हम अपना सुबह बात हुई थी बिहेवियर चेंज की, राइट। तो मैं ये चाहती हूँ, हम लोग क्योंकि भारत सरकार से आए हैं और हम लोग ये चाहते हैं कि आप यंग जनरेशन हो और आप ही आगे देश को ले जाने वाले हैं। I would like to give my sincere thanks to Professor Yogesh Singh, Vice Chancellor, University of Delhi, and Shri Ravindra Ratno, Executive Director, NIDM, Ministry of Home Affairs, for giving their important time and support to organize today's program. My special thanks to our chief guest, Professor V.S. Chauhan, Padam Shri and Senior Scientist. I would like to extend my thanks to Professor Rama for her great hospitality, and Professor Santosh Kumar for guiding us to hold this program and to reach out to you. My sincere thanks to our distinguished speaker, Professor C.S. Dubey, Vice Chancellor of Kumar Mangalam University, Professor V.K. Sharma of IIPA Delhi, Professor P.D. Pant from Uttarakhand Open University, and Professor Balram from Dean College of Delhi University. At last but not least, my sincere thanks to Professor G.K. Sharma, University of Delhi, who helped us to reach out University of Delhi and to hold this today's important event. And special thanks to our students who are with us since morning to evening and listening. Thank you all. Thank you.